goals, passions, dreams. My guests will help inspire you to find your true calling. They will be sharing their success stories as well as their journey. So watch me on Trending with Suyo. Welcome to Trending with Suyo. I am your host, Suyo. So every week we'll have an interesting member of the Tamil community share parts of their career, passion, and lives. These individuals will give you a rare perspective on the challenges and best moments of their chosen paths. I hope that these conversations will help inspire you to find your true calling. So join me and see what you learn. Any brides out there really nervous about their wedding process, don't know where to begin, feeling so overwhelmed? I know I have when I was going through my wedding, right? And I'm sure you're going through that too. Well, don't worry, ladies, you're in luck. My guest today is an amazing girl who has put together this wedding planning. It's actually a book that's a Tamil Hindu wedding planning book. So here she is to tell us more. Janita, the founder of Thaali, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. So we have your book right here. It's the first ever wedding planning book. First of all, I have to say, where were you when I was getting married? I could have used all this help. But let's start with the title. Thaali is obviously a symbolization for our Hindu culture and our weddings. Right. So why did you pick the name Thaali?
So when I originally started, I was thinking of a title to obviously save the document. So then I came up with Thaali, and I was like, okay, I'll just do this for now. It didn't really sit on me at the moment, so I was like, I'll just type in Thaali for now, and then when I'm done, I'll figure out another name. So then after I was done, I was like looking up ways to say it in Sanskrit, make it sound fancy, and then it hit me, and I was like, the core of the Tamil wedding is a Thaali. So what better name for a Tamil Hindu wedding planner than Thaali, right? So it just, and then after that, it started growing on me. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it like this because it works.
Exactly. I really love it. Like your display, everything is just so fancy dancy. But let's get into what the Thaali is exactly. So tell us about why you created this. Let me think. You were probably stressed out during your wedding time, so you're like, let me help the brides out. Is that how it played together?
So actually how it formed is two collaborative stories kind of put together. Okay. Originally what happened was when I graduated in 2014, I was so adamant, and I told my parents that I wouldn't work a job that didn't correspond to what I studied. So I studied labor relations, and I was so passionate about it really. And for anyone who doesn't know what labor relations is, it's basically labor law. And I was looking for jobs, but it's one of those fields where you either need to know somebody or you need to have 10 years of experience on your back. So it didn't really work in my favor, and I was kind of getting very depressed and sad, and I could notice that my parents were sad, that I was sad. And I remember going up to them one day and I was like, you know what, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something where people know me on a first name basis and I'll make you proud. And at that time I told them, and then I walked away, and I was like, I literally have no idea what I'm gonna do. But I was like, I want to kind of step into the wedding industry because that's the time I was getting older and I was really paying attention to the wedding industry. And at that time also my cousin was getting married. So what happened was I'd watched her plan her wedding, and she had to use a notebook, and then she had to use a planner she bought from the bookstore, which obviously doesn't play with our weddings. And then she ended up having this binder that looked like something you use to teach your students.
I had one of those.
So I was like, what is this? So then as she was planning, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start planning for my wedding, but I wanna make my own planner. So I started writing this into a Word document. It's funny enough, it was a Word document on my laptop. And then my wedding got planned out of nowhere because thanks to horoscopes. So my wedding, the date got chosen in October, and then my wedding was in May. So there was no way I could have finished writing this and planning my wedding. So I started doing the notebook thing like everybody else. But then I remember I told my husband, now my fiance at the time, Nero, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create a Tamil Hindu wedding planner because I know how hard this is, and I'm gonna do it for everybody else. And he's super supportive, so I could say anything. I could literally go to him and be like, you know what, I'm gonna be late for dinner because I'm gonna try to catch a star, and he'll be like, okay, pick the brightest one. Aww. So when I told him, he was just like he didn't even bat an eye. He was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like, are you for real right now? Because I'm like, okay, sure. So it was there, but I didn't take it seriously. And then as I realized, I wasn't finding my dream job, and then I realized how hard it was for me personally to plan my wedding without one, I was like, you know what, maybe I should. And then it slowly I started concentrating on it more and more, and then It's
there
here.
It is, there it is, the secret and everything. So tell us what's in this book. What is the secret that you've been hiding in here that every bride should need to get their hands on one of these?
So it has every single vendor that we need in a Tamil Hindu wedding. So we're talking your Nadaswaram, your priest, your Kurasari, your Manavarasari, you know, your bridesmaids outfits, all this stuff that you won't find in a planner you get outside.
Okay.
You'll find everything that's particularly catered to our weddings. To our weddings. And it really matters because these are the things that you kind of miss out on, or you don't really know what to do if you had to plan in a notebook. I remember I was doing mine and I was writing it because I thought, of course, like, oh, I know everything about weddings. So I was writing it and my mom was like, what about this? Like, what about this?
Right.
Where is it? Like, you don't have a spot for it. So I realized how much we have that needs attention that we don't really pay attention to if it's not in front of our face.
Right.
So all those things you'll find in here, so you won't miss a beat.
Okay. Give us some of the things that are in this book.
So I speak about my experiences. So it's divided into 6 sections.
Okay.
And then in the beginning of each section, you'll see a page where I really speak about kind of my experiences and what I would want to tell them if we were on like a one-on-one basis.
Okay.
And then I have tips, which I kind of curated for my own wedding and other people's wedding and like hearing other people's stories. And then they have all their vendors. So it's laid out. So you just pick your vendor. We have option charts for some like major vendors. So like videographer, photographer, makeup artist. You get to like go through 3 or 4.
Okay.
You get to really decide who you want and you get to pick them. And then you put your appointments, your deposits, your day of deposits, all that fun stuff that you miss, that you really do miss.
That's actually to the core. So you have everything in this cute little book.
I tried.
Okay. And another question is, like, you mentioning all this stuff and I'm thinking, wow, like, are you doing this all on your own or do you have like this team behind you?
Okay, so this question actually, when I first started, so when I went to my production meetings and my printing meetings, I remember people were like, don't say it's a you thing, say it's a we thing. And in the beginning I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then I came home and I was thinking about it, I'm like, no. It's not a we thing. Okay. Like I've put my time, I've put my effort, like I've poured my emotions into this thing and I did it alone. So I told Nero, I was like, you know what? Everyone's saying to say it's a we thing, but I'm gonna say me. And I'm like, I'm not afraid or ashamed to say it because I put work into this. Of course I had people who worked with me. So printing, production, I haven't started marketing, but when I do, I'll have a marketing team. But these are people that I pay for their services. Right. If I look at who gets a paycheck via Thaali, it's technically only me.
Right.
So I do sometimes say we. When I refer to we, I'm referring to me and Nero because he helps me with my emails and like shipping and all that. But it's a me thing, and I'm not scared to say that.
Yeah, obviously own it, right? You put your hard work into it, you're gonna have to own it.
Yeah, that's a lot of people kind of had a hard time grasping that, and I was like, no. And then I kind of explained to them like, who gets paid because of Thaali? It's only me. So it's a me thing. I'm not scared to say it.
No, don't be. And Jenny, you also mentioned the vendors, right?
Right.
So let's go through the vendors. Like, why did you pick these specific vendors, and what benefits does the brides have in choosing these guys?
Okay, so if you look at the sections, it's divided. Main vendors is people, absolutely, no matter how simple or how extravagant your wedding is, you need to have photography, videography, decor. You need to have these, like the core vendors are under main vendors. When you get into details, you find people who make or break your wedding. So people who really add the essence and you can kind of make it your own. So you have your Nadaswaram, you have your priest, you have your wedding favors, reception favors, anything you need that creates your flavor in your wedding is under details.
Okay. So Jenny, you mentioned the vendors. You picked specific vendors to be a part of this book. So why did you pick these guys, and what benefits does the brides have in choosing one of these vendors?
So you'll see that in the sections, I have 2 sections. So main vendors is all of the vendors you need, no matter how extravagant or how simple your wedding is. Okay. You need these guys to run a wedding. So you have your photography, your videography, your decor, all the main like core people in a wedding. When you get into details, you get into the part where these people make or break your wedding day to your taste. So we're talking your Nadaswaram, your priest. Of course, people have like priest preferences, like people who they know as a family, people who like really know their family and they know will bless them properly, wholeheartedly. And then we have your reception favors, your wedding favors, all the little stuff that you kind of want to add in to add your own flavor to to make it yours, basically.
One of the, oh, actually, before I ask you that question, if there's a vendor out there watching today and they want to be a part, are you ready to get some new people on board?
Of course. We actually have a line of Thaali certified, is what I call them, vendors that they want to collaborate with me, and I kind of see how they interact with me, because one of my major goals is I don't recommend people unless I feel that they have what it takes to be a good vet, because a lot of people have really bad experiences with vendors.
Okay.
So these people message me, and then I choose them, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, like we can go ahead. So anyone who purchases a planner, they get a specific deal with these people. So it's not like all around deal. So everyone kind of gives their own deal. So I have florists, I have cake artists, I have decor, I have
so
makeup
that's awesome.
artists.
So they get a like a deal, a little discount.
A discount. Like, for
okay.
example, one of my newest people were somebody who does the custom sari blouses. So she gives 20% off for anyone who buys a planner.
Nice, got it. Okay, so definitely there's a benefit for the brides for going with these vendors that you choose. Okay, one of my favorite features in this book is the fact that you are giving your services out, right? So any bride that actually purchases this planner, you are available 24/7, guys. Hit Jenny up to actually provide like whatever any questions they have. Are you like physically there if they're like, okay, Janita, we need you to come shopping with us? Like, how does it work? Like, what can tell us about that feature?
So once you buy the planner, I always send out a personalized card to like everybody.
Okay.
And I write in the card, I'm like, from Thaali to Thaali. So the minute you purchase Thaali to the minute your Thaali gets tied around your neck, I will be there. When I mean I will be there, I mean whether it be options or you need advice or you just need to vet, because some people really need an unbiased opinion. Because sometimes, it's not a joke. Wedding planning is hard, and sometimes you and your significant other can kind of get bitter, or your family and his family can get bitter, and you don't want to tell your friends or family because you don't want them to get a bad opinion about one another.
Yeah.
So then I'm there for that. I have people messaging me and asking me to curate like a list of vendors in case, like if they go, hey, I'm looking for makeup on a budget, can you help me? I'll do that. It's funny, actually, I get yelled at by people in the industry, and people who know me personally, they're like, people literally get paid for the stuff you're doing.
Right.
But I'm I just
because
look at them.
Because you love it so much.
Exactly.
You're like, okay, I'm just gonna do
like, I'm
this
so
for it.
passionate about it, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't like it's stressful enough, and I just want to be there for the bride. And I think that's what makes it so special to me, is because I'm not. Before it's a business, it's a passion for me.
Right. Exactly. And thank you for that, because not everyone does that. And like you said, it's an extra fee for that services. So definitely get your hands on this book and use Jenny as much as you can. But Jenny, what feedbacks have you gotten from your brides that have purchased the Thaali?
So far, everybody has told me that they can't imagine how they would have got through their wedding without this, and they can't imagine how anyone before our time, like before this time, got through their weddings, just because it really, like I've had somebody, and most of my brides are actually, majority of my brides are from the UK and out of country. Okay. So they're always just like, I don't know how I would have thought of some of those vendors if I didn't see it in here. Because the wedding industry in foreign countries are kind of not as elaborate. Like our wedding industry is very strong. So they're just like, we don't have like as hectic as your Toronto wedding industry is. So if I didn't see that vendor in your planner, I wouldn't have taken the time to go and look for them.
Okay. So we're going to continue talking to you, but we're going to take a quick short commercial break, and we'll be back. Trending with Suyo. Trending with Suyo. Thank you for joining me and Janita today on Trending with Suyo. So we're talking about this beautiful book over here and everything that you need to know in planning your wedding. So let's continue. Jenny, I wanted to ask you, what is the most memorable feedback or comment that you've gotten from your bride?
From my bride, I remember one of my very first brides, actually. So she's actually very close to me. She's like a friend now.
Okay.
She told me, she's like, she needed this, and it's funny because it actually has this history behind it. So the day I had pre-orders launching, she's like, I have a friend in Toronto right now. Do you think she can get it? And I was like, no, because it was a Thursday. So I'm one of those people. Yeah. I believe in the don't do anything good on Thursdays. So I was like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm sorry. Yeah. So she was like, no, but she's leaving today, and like I really need it. So I was like, you know what? Because usually you have to pay for shipping. So I was like, you know what? Pay for the planner, and I'll ship it out under my name as my wedding gift to you. Okay. So then I got it out to her, and she was just like, I can't imagine if I didn't get this.
Really?
And her wedding was very elaborate. Like for somebody from Germany, her wedding was like beautiful.
Really?
But she was just like, I can't even imagine how I would have put this together if it wasn't for your planner.
That's amazing. So you're like the person behind, you know, that experience,
yeah,
right?
and it's honestly so heartwarming just because you know that your wedding day is one of the most important days of your life. So to know that I had a part, like some part of me had a part to play in somebody's wedding, even if they're not in the country, is like huge. You know?
Exactly. You know, there's so many different brides with different personalities, of course, and everybody has their, you know, the dream day and how they want everything to go. So what question do you feel like you get asked a lot with all these brides?
One major question, no matter how expansive their budget is, everybody's looking for a deal, you know what I mean? Because, of course, like if you could spend 1 million or 2 million on a venue, you'd obviously pick 1 million.
Right.
But like even if your budget's in the millions, you still want a deal. So I guess the best thing that they get from that is the fact that they get all these deals from vendors who are associated with me, and they really take advantage of it. Okay. And I like that, and that's the main reason why I chose these people, because I don't get anything out of having these vendors, and they don't get anything out of being with me. But we have this like joint passion to help a bride out at the time of, you know, time of her wedding. It's important.
Of course, definitely. You know, one of the things that I ask all my guests is like, you guys are all doing something that you love, and this is like your passion. But has it ever felt overwhelming, and you felt like, oh my gosh, why did I get into this, or I want to stop, or anything like that? Have you ever felt overwhelmed?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day would be the question. I mean, the answer. But the thing is, when you're doing something that you chose for yourself, you don't see how tired you are. And I'm one of those people, like for example, Nero, my husband, he will give his 100 no matter what he's doing. So you can give him a job. If he doesn't like it, he'll give like his 100. Like, that's just who he is as a person. But if I don't like what I'm doing, I won't give it my 100. Right. So then the fact that this is mine and I love it and I'm so passionate about it is like, I don't care how tired I am. I don't care, you know, how late it is, how early it is. Like, I'll just go ahead and do it. And if I, like, obviously everybody needs a break. Right. So if I need a break, I just kind of take the day off. I don't respond to emails. And I told myself when I started that I was gonna have like a work-life balance, even if it's my own. So because we live like alone now, so we only get to see family on the weekends. So I'm like, you know what, like I won't respond to emails on the weekends, and then I'll start again on Monday. So I think I give myself that space to really see the difference, so it doesn't really overpower my life, but if it does, you just take a break, and then you don't care. Like, you'll get back to it super happy. You'll actually want to get back to it. I remember we were in Rome, and I was like, okay, I want to go back to respond to emails.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Because you love it so much, of course. What advice would you give to my viewers that are actually doing the whole 9 to 5, but then they have something that they really want to do or they love, and they're just not taking that step to, you know, go for it?
You know what? I feel like if you have the spot in your life, if you have the people in your life that are willing to support your dreams, go for it. When I first started this, actually, we just got married and we just moved out. So this was like, is my passion, but in all honesty, it was Nero who made this work for me, because he was like, you know what, I know we moved out, like we have bills to pay, like, you know, like we live a normal life too, it's not a fantasy, but he's like, I'll deal with it, you do this, like you do what you love, you just do it to the fullest until you're tired of it, or if you end up where you want to be, then you let me know, but I want you to follow your dreams. So whatever it is, just do it.
Yeah. You know, it's so cool, the whole concept of Thaali and everything, and you keep mentioning your husband, and I think that is so sweet, and that's like the foundation of marriage, and it just falls together, you know, with what you do and actually what you believe in. So that's kudos to you guys, you know. And so, like, you've obviously put out this book that's your passion, you put your heart and soul into it. So what's next for Thaali, and what's next for you?
What's next for Thaali? I have big plans as soon as volume 1, so this one sold out. I'm not gonna say what it is, but something big is coming.
Okay.
It's in production right now. Okay. We're just kind of working on the nitty gritty, because this one took 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So you can just imagine how long that takes. But something big is coming, I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll definitely say that.
Awesome, so something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
And what about for you?
For me, I'm really trying to focus all my time and energy into this.
Yeah.
I'm not looking like that's what, like I'm not trying to open a unit and make this, you know, like a huge. It's something I do for myself, and I think that's what keeps me driving. Is what I tell everyone too. Before it's a business, it's a passion.
Right.
So I think I'm just gonna stick to my passion, and wherever it takes me, I'll go there.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of vendors started when you did. Who do you think is the most promising entry?
Okay. So the wedding industry, as you may know, it's huge. Everybody's trying to have a side job, or like, you know, they're trying to do something in the wedding industry because we all know how promising it is, you know what I mean? And everyone's really passionate about, just because it's probably one of the most funnest industries to be in.
True, yeah.
So there's a lot of people constantly entering. 2017, when I first launched, a lot of people entered, but there's one company that sticks out to me, Ronnie Event Decor.
Okay.
That whole crew is incredibly talented. Incredibly talented is like an understatement. They're incredibly talented. And something that stood out to me more than the crew is Mathurin, one of the co-founders. He's he knows his worth, but he's so supportive of other people. He's the type of person who he wants to eat and he wants to make sure you eat too.
Okay.
So his schedule is packed, but he will go out to every show, every event, every workshop, just to show how supportive he is. And I think that really matters for me, and that's something I admire about him, because for me, a business is like 80% who you are and 20% what you are. So who he is as a person really speaks about his company. Okay. And the company in whole, on a decor basis, they're mind equals blown. Like, they're amazing. They will do anything under the sun to make your dream come true. Like, they will get hands-on and get it done. If you follow their social media, you'll see it.
Really?
And it's like, as you see their hard work, you really know where they're gonna go. And like, I tell him all the time, like, you guys are gonna take over the wedding industry that nobody's seen before. So like, let me know when it happens.
That's amazing. And obviously, one question I want to ask you is, why the Thaali? Like, why should brides choose your book over the other planning books out there?
So this one, it's an emotional answer. I hope you're ready to start crying.
Okay. I'm very sensitive, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
So apart from the fact that it caters to our weddings, what I really love about it is, in this time and day, we're going through this situation where, thanks to social media, thanks to other people's weddings, thanks to movies, we all know what we want on our wedding day. So we don't really need to, like, before we have a significant other, before we have a ring, we know what our wedding is gonna look like. So when it comes to wedding planning, what we do is we don't ask our family, we don't ask our friends, we kind of just jump right into it, start booking vendors. And I feel like there's this heat that happens between the bride and the families, because they obviously, it might be their only child, it might be their eldest child, whatever child it is, whatever sibling it is, they still want to play a part. It's important, right? So the bride doesn't feel the need, not because she doesn't care about their input, but because she doesn't need it, genuinely. She already knows who she's going to book, so she doesn't want to spend time picking and sitting and, you know, going over information that she already knows. So I think what really helps with this is because you get to incorporate family. And I think that's one of the biggest things I hear from my brides or their friends who come to pick it up is after they open the book, they're just like, my mom will use this more than me, or my dad's gonna love this. And I think that hits the spot for me because it is exactly what I wanted. In this time, when we know everything, we don't feel the need to ask people. But for example, no matter how much you know about the Tamil wedding, you're not a swaram, you're a priest, you're a caterer, your parents are going to book those people.
Right, exactly.
So you could easily just take the book to them and be like, hey, Amma, like when you have them, like just fill it in. Or like, hey, Appa, when you know the songs that you want the Nadaswaram people to play, like just write in the songs. Because I have it, like I have a list of songs that they can write in. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it plays a part with everyone, and there's a checklist. You can like just tear it out and give it to your sister and be like, hey, like you have to keep track of the checklist. And I feel like it really incorporates the family, and they feel a sense of belonging in your wedding. So it kind of ties together the traditional wedding values with the modern bride. And now when whoever in the family sees the book lying around the house, they'll feel a sense of connection with it, not just the bride.
Awesome, awesome answer, awesome. And I can hear my viewers screaming at me to ask you the next question, like where can we purchase this book?
Through me and solely me, because I remember a lot of people were like, you know, you should sell it on Indigo, you should sell it on Amazon, like it'll go big. And I'm like, but I don't want that. I want them to interact with me. And that's one of the main things that I'm so happy about, is because I want to have that personal interaction. Like if you come in to grab a planner from me, I want to know about you. I want to know about your fiance. I want to know about what plans you have for your wedding. That way I can help you if you really need it. If you're buying it off of, like a platform where we don't even know each other, we're not going to feel connected. And I feel like all of my brides, even after they get married, we have that connection because we've had that interaction. So you can email me at info@thaali.net, or you can go onto my social media, Thaali Planner on Instagram, or you can go onto the website, www.thaali.net. It's under construction right now. So email is the best form.
Email is the best form. And tell them again, your email.
So info@thaali.net.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Janita, for being here today.
This is like the most fun I've had.
Thank you. Thank you for making the process, the whole wedding process, easier now for our brides. Thank you, and good luck with everything. And we're waiting to see what's next for Thaali. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I know you brides are so excited now because life is going to be so much easier. So get your hands on the Thaali, and I will see you next time on another episode of Trending with Suyo. Bye-bye. Goals, passions, dreams. My guests will help inspire you to find your true calling. They will be sharing their success stories as well as their journey. So watch me on Trending with Suyo.